We usually picture survival instincts as loud, right? Like fight or flight, ticking down doors, adrenaline just pumping.
Right, the classic action movie response.
Exactly. But today, for our deep dive, we're looking at a piece called Text that explores the exact opposite. It looks at what the brain does when running or fighting is just physically impossible.
Yeah, it's a truly harrowing account of a 17-year-old's 11-hour captivity in Copenhagen.
And a quick heads up for you listening today, this does cover some really intense trauma and assault, but our mission today isn't true crime. We're breaking down the incredible, silent neurological mechanisms that keep the mind alive when the body is trapped.
Because the narrator meticulously details the psychological architecture of survival. I mean, it's a profound look at how the human brain manages absolute helplessness.
So let's start right at the beginning, near the Forum Metro. She gets abducted, forced up this narrow staircase into an apartment kitchen.
A kitchen full of stolen goods, yeah.
Right. And instead of screaming or fighting, she describes her knees just locking. She politely declines drugs. She even asks the attacker, "Is this something from your childhood?" It feels like I don't know, a massive neurological override.
Well, it is. The brain is running this constant high-speed threat assessment. Earlier, she remembers seeing this same man casually swing a heavy fishing knife at a homeless person.
Oh, wow. Just out of nowhere.
Basically just out of irritation.
Yeah.
So her brain instantly registers that any physical resistance will trigger a lethal response. So it deploys a trauma response known as fawning.
Fawning. So like trying to please or pacify the threat to survive.
Exactly. It's an active survival strategy. By asking about his childhood or being polite, she's trying to trigger his empathy, to humanize herself. The brain shuts down the physical impulse to fight to protect the whole organism.
Man. But as this ordeal stretches into 11 hours of assault, her mind has to find a different way out. She starts picturing herself as a free gazelle taken down by a wildcat with its claws in her throat.
Yeah, and later, she escapes into this vivid fantasy of an idyllic, conflict-free life with a husband and healthy kids.
Right. So what is happening there?
Think of dissociation like a neurological circuit breaker. When the psychological load gets too heavy, when the trauma is too agonizing, the brain literally trips the main breaker.
So it just cuts the power.
Pretty much.
Huh.
The prefrontal cortex, which is the logical part of the brain, detaches from the amygdala's raw fear response. It stops the psychological house from burning down. The gazelle metaphor is just her brain processing the pain without forcing her conscious self to be fully present.
Okay, well, I got completely stuck on one detail right in the middle of all this. At one point, he lets her use her phone, and she texts her boyfriend.
Right, text message.
Yeah, she doesn't type "call the police." She texts, "I love you, I look forward to seeing you. Tomorrow, going to bed now, good night." Why send such a normal text? Is she, like, trying to keep her boyfriend from showing up and getting hurt? Or is she just managing the captor's temper?
She's managing the immediate threat. I mean, she's disoriented, she doesn't know the exact address, and the attacker is actively watching the screen.
Oh, God, he's right there.
Right. If she types anything remotely suspicious, that circuit breaker we talked about won't matter because she'll be dead. Compliance, stalling, and projecting absolute normalcy are her only lifelines.
She realizes in that room that no one is coming to save her. And it's that profound physical isolation that sparks this broader, almost tragic realization. While she's pinned down, her internal monologue shifts to a massive critique of Denmark's welfare state.
It's fascinating. She's trapped in a micro-level nightmare, but she identifies it as a symptom of a macro-level systemic failure.
Yeah, she observes a society where kids are abandoned to the streets, where marginalized people are fighting raw moral battles just to exist.
Exactly. She sees that this violence didn't just appear out of nowhere. It fostered in the cracks of a system that abandoned the people it was built to protect.
And now she is the one paying the physical price for that societal breakdown.
Which really makes the ending of this ordeal all the more jarring. At 6 in the morning, after 11 hours, he simply lets her go.
Right. And the reason is the most mundane detail ever. He just has to go to work.
It highlights this terrifying, invisible membrane between absolute horror and everyday routine.
It really does. It leaves you with something huge to ponder. How does a society reconcile that these hidden, profound horrors are happening in the exact same spaces at the exact same time as our everyday morning commutes?
Oh, yeah, it's deeply unsettling.
We started by exploring how the individual mind dissociates to survive when it can't escape. But maybe the real question for you to think about is whether society itself uses that same survival instinct, tripping the circuit breaker, and just completely dissociating from the darkness right next door.